All right, guys. Well, welcome and good afternoon to everyone. Well, Christina and Roman on the line, we're extremely happy and excited about broadcasting it's not the first webinar anymore. Sorry, it's the second one. The first was this morning, but it's the same. So we are going to showcase some information basically that are either new or as a follow-up from what we've been communicating in the past. It all started during the Distributor conference that you were part of it. So we wanted to do a follow-up, and rather than just sending an email, we thought, okay, it would be a good idea to host a webinar to see how it's perceived and how do you guys you see it. So as you might see, it's mainly video and audio. You're not able to speak, but it doesn't mean that you cannot communicate. You can use the chat box like some of you are already doing in order to ask questions or raise your hand. I'm going to have a slide on this for those who are not familiar with ReadyTalk. It is actually super simple, and you'll see everything coming. So just for you to understand how this is going to go, we are going to go through the presentation. I'm going to be flagging some of the questions that are coming, and we're going to have a Q&A session at the end. So I'm going to read them and go over the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Of course, if I see something popping up that can be answered quite quickly and easily, I'll include it while I'm talking. So if you have questions throughout the presentation, don't hesitate. Just type them, and I'll save them and flag them as we go back later during the Q&A session. All right. So if we look at the agenda, we're gonna talk about various topics and cover quite some large initiatives and activities. So I'm not going to go through all of them right now to explain. I'm just going to jump straight into ReadyTalk and the presentation of the webinar. So this is the window that I'm showing right now is basically what you should see without the ReadyTalk slide. Now you should see the slide that I'm showing, but it's just to show you where to use the features of the tool. At the bottom left, you can open the chat box to ask a question. This question will be sent to me only, and I'll be able to see them and flag them or answer them right away. You cannot send a question to everyone. Only me can do it, and this is what I did at the beginning when I wrote to you to say that we were about to start in a couple of minutes. On the right side of the chat box button, you also have a raise your hand button. So when you do that, I see your name basically blinking and glittering, so that tells me that someone wants to do something. It is good when the line is open, when you can actually interact with us. But in this version, in this first version, we are only doing it a one-way street. As a next step, we might change that and have open line where you guys can ask questions directly or we can communicate. But as a first trial, we wanted to make sure that the webinar works, that everything works, and that this part is being covered by written question, which makes it a little bit easier for us to tackle everything else that's going on. And you can also mute, it's actually not mute yourself, you can mute myself if you're tired of hearing me talking. So you can mute me throughout the presentation. Moving on to the whole concept. So as I was explaining, we wanted to of course keep on communicating with you guys, but we had the idea to do something a little bit different and a little bit more interactive than just a long email, as you might receive several times throughout the day. Because part of the changes and the improvement that we are implementing in Robuschi is also related to the communication and the transfer of information. So webinars are a great platform and great tool in order to exchange information in I would say in an interactive and also in a living way, and not something so cold as what an email can be. Of course, to keep it interesting, it has to be straight to the point and short. So that's why we're gonna try to stick it to the timing that we've implemented to ourselves. It's 45 minutes that we would like to do. We will not be able anyway to go beyond 1 hour because the session will be closed at that moment. So we are hosting 2 sessions a day when we are hosting webinars, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, as you could see, just to accommodate people schedule and timing and make sure that as many participants as possible can join. One thing that I might be adding to this is you guys might be following the webinar right now with multiple people together in the same room using one laptop. I would advise you and ask you kindly for the next time to try to do it individually, because obviously we're monitoring the number of people joining, and it makes it easy also for the communication to see who is there, who is asking a question, and so on. So again, this webinar being the first one, it's still a try and error type of thing, but as a good practice would be good that individually, guys, you can make sure that you register. That way we can see how many people are joining and who is asking questions and participating. We can also see this because we are recording the session for the people that are not going to be able to attend, but still want to listen to what has been said later on. So you'll be receiving the link or the file directly after the session once the recorded session is been terminated. As I mentioned, there will be a Q&A session at the end where it's going to be me going through what you've been asking throughout the 45 minutes. And you will be receiving at the end of the webinar, when everything is finished, a post-survey, which is extremely important for us in order to judge ourselves and judge the format and make sure that we're making it the way is the most convenient and impactful for you. We've just done it the way we thought it would be good, but we will be asking you in the survey, what did you think about it, and if you have ideas to improve it, and so on. So don't be afraid to suggest things. There are a lot of possibilities. Not everything is possible, of course, but we can do a lot of things with this tool. So we have to make sure that we're using it to the extent of the possibilities. So I'm going to go now directly to one of the topics that we're going to touch today, which is the Distributor Activity Conference list. And Rafael, I can jump to your question because I see that you wrote from the beginning the prices for spare parts. So the prices for spare parts, as you guys can see, was one of the activities that was planned to be done in Q4. It has been completed. I marked it green, but I've understood from this morning as well that you guys never received the communication. So as a follow-up from this morning, we are going to send again the price list for Robuschi product to all of you to make sure that it's received and not only checked on the list, but actually not communicated, because the document exists and it's ready to be sent. So, of course, if you, after that this is not good enough or there are information missing, feel free to come back and ask some more detail or complementary information. So the spare part was one of the many activities that we've planned. You can see what has been completed in Q4 last year. You should have received a similar table 2 months ago, showing what we were planning to do by Q4, Q1, and Q2. And this is just the follow-up of this file. Several of the activities that have been completed in Q4 will be shown to you throughout this webinar. Even though you should have received the communication, we wanted to make sure to go over them once again to show you what it means, what each of them implies, to make sure that it's really covered and understood, and we can all move on to the next one. I'm going to be also honest with you. We've moved some of the activities from Q4 to Q1 just because sometimes we did not realize what the creation or the modification of some document or some information was implying, and then it triggered some more discussions and meetings to do so. So we basically set up for ourselves a target that was too ambitious, but that doesn't mean that we're just skipping it. We are delaying it as shortly as possible, the time that we are releasing it. But we're keeping an eye on it by having this follow-up, and we will keep on informing you as far as what's coming. The idea is to tag everything that you see on the slide right now green by the end of Q2. One of the activities that I was explaining that was completed by last year was the distributor style guide. Christina is going to explain you and present you what it means, and I'm going to give her the mic now. So Christina, if you're ready, feel free and just let me know when you need the slide to be changed.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope that you are hearing me well. And yes, for me, it's the first time to join and to participate a webinar. So I hope that I'm doing well and explain clearly what I already arranged for you. And it was, I think, one of the important tasks of last year for our distributors, especially created for you. This is available, this style guide in RAPSnet. And first of all, I would like also to reinforce the importance of using RAPSnet, because you can find everything, more or less everything you need quickly, only to join using RAPSnet. One of these, as you can see in this screenshot, is easily to find on the home page. There is a button, and then you click on this button, Distributor Style Guide. Then you have the second screenshot where you have to choose the right brand, Robuschi, and then finally you see brand identity Robuschi. This is our page dedicated for you. Next slide. Okay, this you can see now the main topics of this style guide, and so it is promoting how to promote our brand Robuschi, the PR and the case studies, the logos, the printed items, the digital, the display at fairs and events, images and downloads. These are the main topics. And from these topics, I would like to highlight the importance of two of them, the printed items and the downloads. Next one. This is the printed items, some screenshot of this section. And for this section, I think this could be one of the most important for you. You can find here some examples. And first of all, I would like to reinforce also the importance of using brochures in electronic format. That could be very useful, for you, in order to have everything available at a click of a button, everything also for your customers, and also it is more convenient and it's flexible for you, and also increase the speed of your customers' answer. And for this reason, I started to upload in RAPSnet, in this section, the brochures. The first is the rotary lobe blowers as artwork, and you can, as you can see in the screenshot, you can add your contact directly in the file and print by yourself. And so it is something that it is possible for you to customize and to have your contact directly printed in the brochure instead of our standard contact. Next slide. And the other point it is the downloads. From this section, you can download different topics. I mean, logos for Robuschi, for the products, and also, I believe one of the main important one, it is the Robuschi authorized distributor logo in different format. For this, you have to ask by mail. I will receive the email, and I will give you the authorization to use this logo and how to use it. I hope that everything is clear, and this is only the main information about this style guide. I hope that you will join also this style guide and RepsNet more frequent than now. And from my side, it's finished this part, and I leave Romain for the other section of this webinar. And obviously, I'm available for the questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Christina. This is exactly what I was about to say. We cannot stress enough, guys, that we realize that, yeah, we're showing you different things. The best thing is to go and see what we're talking about. So you have in the presentation where to find information. We will send you the recorded session afterward. Make sure that you go check it out and then make sure that you use it, or if you don't use it, feedback us why it's not good or it's not useful for you. It's all a matter of improving things, and we have plenty of ideas, but we also need your feedback to make sure that we're making it the way is really useful for you. So any question regarding the distributor style guide, please ask Christina, and she'll be right on it. All right, moving on. So another small topic, which is the lead time. It was one of the things that we realized that was not existing a couple of months ago for the Robuschi product, which was a place where lead times were actually shared, and that you could check what the lead time of a specific product was in order to be able to quote them. So we've corrected it and started an initiative that hopefully you've been aware of, because Antonio has sent an email 3 months ago about this to explain where to find what I'm going to show. We didn't receive a lot of feedback, so we're hoping that everything is clear, but we're also suspecting that some information might not be so straightforward. So we want to take this opportunity to either explain it to you if you have a question, or to make you realize that this exists for you to go and check it out. So where to find the lead time in RepsNet for Robuschi products? Well, as I mentioned, it's in RepsNet, and I'm joining Christina in emphasizing the importance of using RepsNet and going there, because this is where you're going to find the most critical information for Robuschi products. Not only Robuschi, but for Robuschi, this is what we are using and will use even more in the future. So make sure that you're getting yourself comfortable with the tool. Under the marketing section, you have in the banner, you can see stock and stock report and lead time section. So when you go there and you select the proper branding and either of the technology, you'll be able to retrieve the lead time file, which you can download directly on your computer. So the file that the window that you see here is where to download the file. This file is being updated on a weekly basis. Typically, it's on Monday that it's being updated. So every week, the file numbers and content is evolving. So to give you a quick sneak peek of the file, you probably don't see much, and that's good because that is going to force you to check what is inside. Just to explain you very quickly how the file is built. On the left side, you have columns that are dividing technologies, products, and models to make sure that we refine it to the selection that you're looking for. And then you have the models labeled towards the middle of the file. Then at the middle, you have a section with lead time working weeks. So there you have a number that is explaining what is the production lead time from pharma for this particular model. Moving to the right side, and on this particular view, you can see several columns, but that are not filled in. These columns basically represent weeks. And if you look at the file the way it is today, on the second page, this is only the first page. On the second page, where you have the Robux lobe and the Robux cruise, you'll see that those columns are filled in and not the lead time working weeks number. The way we want to approach it, and we wanted to see what your feedback and comment would be, was instead of giving you a number as far as the lead time for a particular product is X number of weeks, we want to disclose to you the slots available for those particular products in the coming weeks. So that means that in the file, you'll be able to see in week 7, in week 8, in week 9, how many machines can be built for a particular product. So when you're quoting, basically you see right away from the file when is the next slot available, and this is updated on a weekly basis. We know that is not the typical way of doing things, but the reason why we want to see how this is perceived and what you think about it is because this gives full transparency on the production capacity. Because you realize, I believe, that our production can build so many of each of the machines, and by showing this particular information, you guys can see the capacity that the factory can build on a particular model. Now, the problem with this, and that we also realize, is that it makes it a little bit tricky to make sure that the lead time quoted is the correct one. So we wanna have your feedback on this. So this is why I'm gonna leave it up to here right now for you to check. Guys from this morning already looked at it, provided some feedback on the file and ways to change it, or things that they thought it would be better to have. So please make sure to go and check it out. That way we're making sure that this topic is an ongoing one, and then we don't consider it done and perfect, as it needs to be improved and needs to be reviewed if you feel so. So moving to the next topic, which was actually one of the topics that we've discussed during the conference, and I've also showed in the follow-up file, the distributors list. So in RepsNet, again, we've uploaded the list of all distributors throughout the EMEA region for you guys to be able to reach them out when you need to have a contact with them for different needs, whether it's for a stock question or whether it's for a service support or anything else. So if you go to RepsNet, to the contact, at the top banner to the contact section, you'll see a distributor directory link. Once you click on it, you've been brought to a page where you have a hyperlink to download directly the file. I've highlighted it in the slide, as you can see, and if you click there, you'll be downloading the file that will show you on the map where distributors are located, and then on the second page, the contact list with the name, the company's phone number, email address, and also an information as far as can this particular distributor support service of Robuschi machines. So you can see right away who in the region can service product that you might be working on and be shipped to this particular region. So we know this was not existing before. It was one of the requests that was put during the conference. Not very difficult to create, to be honest, but it's done now. So it's an improvement compared to where we were, and this is what we want to show to you guys, that we are moving towards the right direction. Something else that we've touched during the conference in Italy, and you've met there Russell, who presented a few informations about wastewater treatment. In case you didn't realize or didn't understand, 2019 for Robuschi is the wastewater treatment year. That's going to be our primary vertical focus. And what that means is that we are doing a lot of initiatives in order to make sure that as a manufacturer, as a supplier, and as a partner, we are present in this market, but present in a way that is efficient and is effective. So obviously, we're already doing business in this market, but we are convinced that we can do more. We're doing a lot of analysis right now in order to check market data and see where we stand in terms of market share. But we have quite a strong suspicion that it's going to be lower than what our perception is. So that's where also the impulse of making sure that we focus on this key market came from. That we have a perception that because the market is big, we are doing a lot of business in it. It's not necessarily true, and we want to cross-checking those information. As I mentioned to you, Russell is in the organization to focus on this vertical, and he has been probably already in contact with some of you. I hope that you had the time to meet him in Italy, but I'm sure you will in the coming weeks or months, because he's going to be traveling to support business development from not only from a global side but from a local side. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that at the end of this slide. To support the business, of course, we're creating plans. One of them is the marketing plan that is supported from Christina's side together with Russell. And what that means concretely is basically not only we want to make sure that we are present as a supplier, but we also want to make sure that we are communicating and be recognized as such from the market. And this goes through a handful of tools, documents, and initiatives that need to be done to make sure that the market hear our voice and realize that Robuschi is a strong player in the wastewater treatment vertical. So this is obviously not the full detailed plan, but you have there some highlights as far as what we are planning to release and launch. So obviously case studies, white papers, new brochures, dedicated website, blogs, and so on. So a list of marketing and communication tools that every professional supplier should basically showcase to explain and to demonstrate his presence and his superiority in this business. So this is not something that has been done in the past for wastewater treatment. We believe it's something that is definitely needed considering the market size. So we're going to do it, and you're going to be involved and presented with the release of each of the document once they're completed. Obviously, we're going to also attend trade shows because it's also another way of exposing yourself to the market and showcasing everything that is new in the business and reaching a larger audience. Coming back to the business initiative, so this is going to be what Russell is focusing on primarily. So you see here a list of a few bullet points. The list is much longer, but these ones are the key ones that we are focusing on. The key account development is basically making sure that the biggest and the most present account in wastewater treatment business are known, approached, and worked correctly, and then we are treating them as special customers because they are. You know that this vertical being transverse to all the territories, some of the companies are not only doing business in a specific country or a specific region, but they're global. So when it comes to doing partnership, we have to attack them from a global perspective. So Russell is going to be the lead from the factory side together with the local support to make sure that the voice, not only from the local representative, but also the business line are combined together in the development of this account. Along with these business initiatives, we are looking at new product development. So we are working right now on the roadmap of new products being developed from Robuschi. There, the message is that being such an important vertical, we want to make sure that whichever product that we're considering to develop in the future, they're aligned with the market expectations, and that we're not doing something that is going to be counterproductive to our development in wastewater treatment. So Russell is also supporting this together with the team of product managers in Parma to align on what the next step in the product portfolio will be, and to make sure that even if it's in an early stage, then wastewater is going to be keen on receiving those new products. Of course, when we're talking about presence, we're also talking about knowledge and information. So training will be key. We're going to host internal training, so amongst ourselves, to explain and to present what is new in terms of either product, documents, and other materials. But we're also going to launch several activities as far as hosting training externally with customers to make sure that we are present and that we can support them when it comes to the understanding of the Robuschi brand, the differences between technologies, and how to take the most benefits and advantages of our portfolio. So this is also on the to-do list, and that's going to happen in a next stage. The first is to make sure that we do the groundwork, that we are reviewing the market and making sure that we have the right people known before engaging some initiatives and some concrete actions. And the last point, which is for me the most important one, is the local business development plan support. So I was explaining that Russell is leading the activity from a helicopter view, basically, where he's coordinating a little bit the activities and the action that needs to happen. But when it comes to make things happen, that can only happen locally, and that can only happen with the local support. So what we're planning to do also is to have dedicated business plans built with local sales representatives to make sure that we are targeting the correct people, that we are approaching the market the right way on a specific territory, region, country, because we know also that wastewater treatment is completely different from a country to another, and the players also might be different. So some countries might be looking at life cycle cost, energy efficiency, others will look at capital cost, and so on. So it's good to have a vision and an overall plan, but when it comes to the realization and the success of it, we have to almost grind it to the local level each and every single time, because markets are quite different. So I've been spending quite a lot of time on this slide. I hope it gave you a little bit more information than what you knew before, but it is very important for us. And you're going to see a lot of communication regarding wastewater treatment in the coming weeks and in the coming months. So stay with us. It's just going to become more and more interesting. Another activity that we've been launching and that you might have been receiving as an information was the Distributor VIP Roundtable. So this initiative hasn't been released to all distributors for now. We've decided to select a restricted number of distributors to invite them to participate if they wanted to, because this is the first time that we're doing it for Robuschi, and we want to make sure that we're doing it in the right way with a limited number of people before opening the initiative up, and making sure that we learn from this first experience before having more people around the table. So the idea here is very simple. It's basically to getting one step closer from each other and moving from manufacturer and distributor to real partners and sharing the same table as basically being part of the same team. So the intention is during those round tables, so we're going to host a couple throughout the year. We're going to be talking about very important topic, as you know, but from a very pragmatic approach, meaning like we want to have from that action plans and also concrete actions that are expected, and not necessarily only conceptual idea that like developing the business or creating some enthusiasm around something. We would like to nail it down to what has to be done, by when, who is leading it, and not only asking you, but involving you in the realization of those activities. So it's going to be a real teamwork. It's going to be some work too. That's not a surprise, but it's going to be also very rewarding when it's going to work. So for those who've been receiving the email and haven't answered Claudia, if you're interested, that's all you have to do for now. Just answer Claudia, and then we will compile people that are interested in this initiative and start the selection process. So it will be a restricted number of people for now, and then we will see if the initiative works and how to make it better, and potentially how to extend it to another group of people. Training, I've touched this section already a little bit during the wastewater treatment explanation, but I've talked about it from a vertical point of view. Now I'm gonna expand that to a broader scope, where we need basically that we have to have training, and it's been a long time since Robuschi hosted trainings or even release new presentations. So the team in Parma, the product management team in Parma is super busy right now updating the new presentations. So it's basically making sure that what we had in the past is still up to date, following the last guidelines and branding, and then we can release them as the up to date. That way you can either train yourself on or train your team, or use them when you go visit customers. That's the minimum. Then we're going to move to creating new presentations that have also a very strong importance when it comes to training, but also to understanding of our product range. And you see the topic that we want to touch base on: general blower knowledge. So everything related to blower components, electricity, thermodynamics, installation, everything that basically a blower distributor or a blower seller should know about, that is important in impacting the customer down the line. Of course, we're going to also supply you with some information about competition, because that's your everyday life. And we will need to compile not only information, but arguments and weapons, if I can call it like this, against the competition, to make sure that you have everything on your side to make yourself and your visit successful. It is not an easy task to do. We're not saying we have all the answers, so it's going to be a joint effort with most of you guys. But we're going to start the creation of those documents, and as pretty much everything that I've been talking about since I started the webinar, it's going to be an ongoing process, and we're expecting to loop this process with some revisions to improve all the document that we're releasing. So we'll do the first hint, and then we work it all together to make it better. In terms of timing, what we have in mind is that by the end of Q2, so by the end of mid-year, we should have pretty much all the presentation we would like to have created being done. So throughout that time, obviously, we will be releasing them. We're still thinking on how to release them, either sending a communication through email or hosting a webinar like we're doing today, to actually open the line and perform a training when the matters are quite important. So we're still working out this bit. But even though we're updating the presentation, that doesn't mean that you can't reach us out to host the trainings on an ad hoc basis. If you feel like your team or yourself need to be trained on a specific topic, please reach us out, and we'll be more than happy to provide that to you. One thing though, we're not entirely ready with all the presentations, so one of the answers might be that we need to create first the presentation before being able to train you. But the first point is you got to start asking us what you need to be trained on, and then from the requirement, we'll compile some training schedule and be able to host something that will be useful for the most of you. After the first half of the year, the intention is to host training on a regular basis and to have this as almost as a running activity. So once the presentation are ready, we'll be able to have a training plan being rolled out, and then you guys will be able to jump in and follow some training that are being done on a consistent basis. So the training plan should not take long to put together. So by the end of Q1, you'll be able to see what we have on the book, and we'll be even able to present it during the next webinar, because the next webinar will be just after Q1. So that's the moment of the presentation that I'm scrolling through questions. So I only saw Raphael's question, which I've answered while talking about the activities. I don't see any question from any of you guys. If any way you have some, if you're thinking about something after, I can still be reached. You can always send me an email. You can always call me. No problem. We'll be more than happy to answer you, or if I don't have the answer, to find the answer for you. I'm hoping that you guys will take the time to go over the different topic that we showed you, the style guide, the lead time, and other things that you've seen in this webinar, to check all the information and then raise questions if you have some. So if we don't have a question right now, then I'm just gonna move on to the closure and just briefly go over the topic that we've discussed. So you had an overview of where we were standing in terms of activities after the conference that we hosted in Italy. Christina presented you the distributor style guide, where to find it, what it is useful for, and how to use it. I showed you where the lead time information was in RepsNet, as well as the Robuschi organization chart and distributors list. I very briefly presented you what we have in mind with wastewater treatment and why this is so important, and how we're gonna make it a focus for this year. And then two additional initiatives that we added to the webinar, which is the distributor VIP roundtable that you should have been communicated about from Claudia if you were on the diffusion list, and the training that is going to be ramped up by the end of semester 1. So I still see no additional questions. So if there isn't anybody else that has a question, then I'll just have to close the webinar. I will remind you that you will receive a survey just after it. Thank you in advance for filling it up, because this is very important for us, and this is also the way to make sure that the next time, if you saw something today that you didn't like, or you want it to be different, then it's the best way to make sure that next time it's corrected. I'm just going to thank you very much for your time and your participation. I'll leave a word to Christina if she wants to speak, and I hope to see you guys all very soon. And again, if you have any questions, I'm available whenever you need.
Yes, thank you for your attention, and as Romain told to you before, I'm available, as you know, as you have already reached me different times. I'm available also to give you more details about the style guide and to use the different topics. And there will be also a question in the survey about the style guide, so we'll be very happy to have your feedback about it. And if you don't have any questions also for this topic, thank you, and have a good afternoon and the rest of the day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.